Hello, Sassy Squad. How are you today? Today is Sunday, and my son will be starting middle school next week. So I thought I would cook him a nice Sunday supper. And I picked up this Sam's Choice boneless spiral cut brown sugar double glazed ham. It says hickory smoked glaze packet included from Walmart. And here's the packet. Let's take a look at that. But I'm gonna peel off. Oh, Lord have mercy. Let's peel off the instructions and leave that there if you want to take a screenshot. I'll be back to get it ready for the oven. So let's see, first thing, we need to put it on 325 degrees, the oven. Welcome back. So, change of plans. I was going to put it in my Dutch oven. Then I read on the instructions that we're going to bake it first and then remove the foil and add the sugar to the ham, and then we'll put it under the broiler. So that kind of told me that this was going to be one of those yummy sticky messes, and I got my broiler pan and covered it in foil, so we'll have a little bit of an easier cleanup. I'm about to take it out of this, but I'm going to cook it at 325 for about 40 minutes because it said 10 to 12 minutes per pound. This one is 3.24 pounds, so I just calculated about 40 minutes. Let's see if we can get this plastic off. And go wash those. And I've made these before, so I'm gonna just keep the juices in there. Getting started kind of late, so luckily he has one more day till he starts back to school, so eating late won't be a problem. But here it is, looks pretty good, and this way we'll have leftovers for tomorrow, like a ham sandwich, and then maybe for breakfast for him for a day or two. He loves ham. Went ahead and pulled off this piece of tin foil so it wouldn't be too noisy, and I'm just going to kind of nestle it around I'm going to go ahead and put this in because you may have heard that the oven, oh no, I forgot that I dropped that down for the Dutch oven. So let me do that real quick, and we're going to time it for 40 minutes. And in the meantime, we will get our corn on the cob going, and we might make a couple of biscuits, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I have gotten a pot of water here, and I'm going to open up our nicely picked and shucked corn. Looks pretty good. I don't even have to pull any silk off of it. Or sometimes it comes with that little piece right there, and I'm like, okay. But they just totally cleaned it, so I'm going to drop it in the pot. A little silk won't hurt us. And I'm kind of weird. I like to smell everything, just make sure it's fresh. Make sure it's not slimy. I think that'll be okay. I'm gonna throw this away. I'm gonna rinse my fingers because the corn's a little damp. I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt. Go ahead and flavor up a little bit. And I'll cover them to get them started. And place this on the stove here, and I'm gonna put it on high. And once it starts boiling, I'll probably drop it down a little bit to simmer. Now, we're gonna whip up some biscuits. To wait a little bit before they can go in the oven, but we'll go ahead and whip them up. I'm gonna take this flat cast iron pan. I'm gonna put it over here to the side. I'm working with white lily, white lily flour, self-rising. One of my dear aunts used to say self-raising flour. So I keep kind of wanting to say that, which is kind of funny. And take a little bit of this grease, just using the Crisco all vegetable is what I put in my biscuits. And if you are afraid to make biscuits, do not be afraid. I'll show you the way. So we got her greased up, and I'm going to get a napkin for my hand. Let's see how much flour we got left. I'm just going to use up what we have. I don't know if it's quite 2 cups, but we are going to see, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So let's see how much. So there's 1 cup. Oh, maybe, oh, it's 2 cups. Look at that. That's awesome. So we can, I'm just going by the recipe on the back of the bag. 2 cups of flour, and then you add in 1/4 cup of shortening, and then you're going to add in your milk, buttermilk or milk, and it says to melt up some butter, but I don't really do that. I'm going to measure the shortening because I'm just gonna eyeball that, because 1/4 is really not that much. I'm going to go ahead and get the fork that I use. I have this big fork that was my mom's, and I use that to cut in the shortening. So I'm thinking that once I scrape out most of this, it'll be 1/4 of a cup. Hey, let's add some cheese to these biscuits. What do you think? I've never done that before, but I'm feeling froggy today, and sorry about that. While I was talking to my son, I scraped the rest of what was in that container, and now I will messily try to get it in the flour. I'll just use my fork, and we will start cutting this in. And once I do that, I will add a little bit of cheese, since we're going to try that. And all I do, you don't need a fancy tool. Just take a fork and mash that shortening into the flour, and as you push down, it'll go through the prongs, and eventually it'll cut it all down, and little pieces of the shortening will be covered in flour. And they say to make it like the size of oatmeal, or the pieces like the size of little green peas. Sorry about the lighting. So I'll show you again when I feel like it's the right consistency. Because if you haven't been making biscuits, I'm going to get you to making biscuits. If you like yummy biscuits on the weekends, or if you got a partner who works hard every day and you want to make them a special breakfast, this will be a nice surprise for them to learn how to make biscuits. I'm going to bring this up to you. You see that? See the shortening in there? Awesome. So now I'm going to get some cheese. This sharp cheddar. I'm just going to measure with my heart. Let's see. It doesn't have to be too crazy. Just enough to get a little cheese flavor. You use the fork. I'm going to mix that cheese in so it's covered in the flour and well distributed. And then we will add our milk. So I've never used this before, but I have used shelf-stable almond milk. And this is shelf-stable lactose-free milk from Parmalat. I don't like to buy fresh milk because we don't drink it. I just use it to cook. So I thought this would be better. My son's getting over being allergic to dairy. We're incorporating some stuff in there, and he seems to be doing fine, thank the Lord. So it says to put 2/3 cup of milk. So I'm just going to use this instead of dirtying up something new, and measure out about 2/3. Oh wait, 2/3. 2/3. Yeah, that'll work. And then pour it in there, and we'll see if that's the right consistency. The corn is starting to boil, so I'm going to keep an eye on that as well. I am just stirring that up. And all I'm going to do, sometimes I'll roll it out, but today I'm just going to take little handfuls, roll them up, pat it, and put it on the pan. And I'm going to scoop some of this around, put this here so you can see what I'm doing. My hands are clean. So I'm just going to pinch off a piece, about that much. I'm going to roll it. And let me tell you, if you are impressed by thick biscuits, the secret is to keep them thick on the pan. So if you roll them real flat, even if you have good self-rising flour, so that's about the thickness I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it right there. It still is not gonna get real tall. So I've experimented and found that the secret to a thick biscuit is keeping them thick. And these might vary in sizes, but you try to keep them the same thickness. And also, if you want your biscuit to be kind of golden and crunchy all around it, you keep them separated on a pan. But if you want them to be soft, you put them together. And then when you pull them apart, they'll be nice and soft on the edges and golden on the top. So I'm going to finish this up and I'll be right back. All right, so I cleared up a little bit my mess. In here are the beautiful biscuits we made together. Yes, they're in the shape of a flower, and I did that on purpose. So I'm going to set these to the side, not on the oven because I don't want them to get too hot. And now I'm going to prepare our last side. And how many of you still have this type of dish that you still use? I'm hoping it's safe, but I grew up on it, so these were my mom's. And what I'm gonna do, I opened up a can of green beans, I drained that juice, and I rinsed them, and I added more water. So I'm just gonna add that to my bowl. Add that in there. We'll put the, ooh, try not to cut ourselves. This is what I'm making. And we're gonna kind of poke through them a little bit. Make sure we don't have no surprises in there. Like half a tree. It's usually what I find. So these look pretty good. This one's got a little weird end on it. So to this, and I'll probably add some more water, I'm going to add, I use any kind of oil. So right now I have some olive oil, and I just put a splash in there, maybe a tablespoon at the most. And shake it up, and I add beef bouillon to it. I'm telling you, these are delicious. You just let them cook, simmer. So kind of just go by the directions on here for a good flavor. I just kind of eyeball it. I think that should be plenty because it does have sodium. And I'm also going to add some onion powder. Now, if you had actual onion and your family likes it, that would be nice in there. I'm just going to add that much because it's not a whole big amount of green beans. I get my spoon, and I'm going to mix those seasonings into the water, and they already smell delicious. So I'll put the spoon there. I'm going to get my water and add some of that to cover the green beans. And I'm going to put that on the back of the stove on medium high to get it rolling. And then I'll drop it down as well. We got 8 more minutes on the ham. The corn's looking good. Biscuits are ready to go. Bring this back over here So they're ready. And when they're ready to go in, I'll bring you back. See you later. Hello there. So while I've been gone, I took the ham out of the oven, moved the corn over there. The beans are about done, and I started the glaze. That if I was going to sprinkle it on the top, I should have done that kind of in the beginning. It's already cooked. Now we're boiling up the glaze, and then we'll pour that on together. It is smelling so yummy in here. And guess what time it is? We got the oven preheated to 475. And we're gonna put these in the oven. And set a timer for 10 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Stir the green beans. And then, oh yeah, I bet that's done. So we're gonna turn off that eye. And the smell of, like, what is it, clove maybe hit me? Smells delicious. So let me see if I can do this. I'm going to take off the tin foil. That looks good. And let's see. I'm just going to use this green bean spoon and separate the pieces a little bit so the glaze can get down in there. And then we're going to, it didn't really create a whole lot of juice. So, put the spoon here, and we're going to pour on this gorgeous glaze. By the way, Walmart, this is not sponsored, but it could be. Right, guys? So, we're just gonna pour this. I don't think I want to pour all of it. Boy, am I ready for some supper. Hear my belly growling. Let's see. I think that's good. We'll leave this back here. Hopefully that won't turn to turn off these beans. They'll stay warm for a little while. Here's the corn. The beans again. And then, let's see. I should probably cover this. Hey y'all, guess what? The biscuits are done. Let's take a look. Ooh, oh, do not focus on the bottom of my oven. It's a mess. Let's see if I can take these out. And we'll see if they're done. Look at that. See what I mean about the thickness? They stay about the thickness of what you put in. So these, I think those are done. So it said 10 to 12 minutes and I cooked them for 10 minutes. But it's at a really high temperature, so I've turned everything off. I think these will continue to cook. Let's see if we can see the bottom of one. Let's see. Perfect. You hear it sizzling. See how it's soft right there on that side. think so. I might put it back in the oven once I turn the oven off. You just have to kind of play around with stuff to see how it works for you. But I'm going to turn the oven off, and I'm going to put it back for maybe 2 more minutes. Make sure the inside is done. I don't want them to get too brown. And then I'm going to make a plate and we'll let you see it. So here we are. We have our yummy ham with a glaze on it, green beans, our biscuits. See, they're nice and crunchy on the outside. And then buttered corn on the cob. And I don't know about you guys, but I love 0 sugar Canada Dry. So we're going to enjoy our Sunday night supper, and I hope you are doing well and having a wonderful weekend. Let me know down below what you had for Sunday night supper, and also if you're planning on trying out any of these dishes, please let me know. I'd love to hear all about what you're doing and cooking, and just be my buddy. So God bless you guys. Have a great week. Until next time, stay sassy.